We know how Nvidia is going to start making their CPUs.
Elon's calling you. Please answer.
And the 4080 Super's calling. We got its ID. Let's get into the hot news, everybody. I'm your Brett host. We're going to be going over the hottest tech news I can find on the internet while you enjoy your breakfast this Friday, October 27th, 2023. There should be no more bamboozles in store for us. This is your last Friday here.
The last full week.
It's gone.
It's gone.
It passed by.
Over.
It whipped over. Just the time sped by. Reece, you're departing us. What do you have to say for yourself?
I'm a menace.
I'm going to talk about how...
No, I was just saying I'm a menace. We've been stringing you guys along for this. What was initially not a bit, then turned into a bit, and now it's not a bit again.
You're saying bit, not bet, right?
Yeah.
I thought you were saying it was a bet.
No.
We've been putting money on it.
No.
Have you?
I wonder if like someone has a betting pool on like if Reece is actually gonna have a final day.
We would have screwed so many people.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, well, have you been betting on how Nvidia is going to be making their CPUs? Because now we got details coming out that it appears to be with Mediatek, the company that has been rumored Nvidia and Mediatek were going to partner up. And then we thought that rumor was satisfied back in May when Nvidia announced that they're going to start working with Mediatek for their vehicle AI like stuff. And everybody was like, okay,
I guess this is it.
That's fine. Nope. Turns out, according to new reports that are coming out from multiple different sources, that Mediatek and Nvidia are going to be using TSMC CoWoS chip on wafer substrate. And so they're going to be working together to package everything in a way that's going to compete with Apple primarily, but also AMD and potentially Intel as more ARM processors come out to the market. We'll have to wait and see more details, but we're expected to see these things launch sometime towards the end of next year or early 2025. Yeah. Today's video is sponsored by Basis and their 7-port USB hub, because if you're looking for an affordable way to get high quality images out of a USB-C hub, look no further than this one, because it is unmatched in its price tier, coming in at only $16.99, but delivering things like 4K at 60 Hz visuals, which makes it the only docking station in its tier supporting that. It also has an award-winning red dot design aesthetic, so you can get pixel perfect 4K for impeccable clarity and vibrancy, as well as 100-watt USB-C charging, allowing you to power your laptop or fast charge various USB-C devices, as well as fast data transfer with 3 USB-A ports capable of up to 5 gigabits per second, and 2 card readers, allowing you for an all-in-one solution to make sure that you have all of the connectivity that you want. And it's universally compatible, working with Windows, Mac OS, Linux, what have you. You're getting speed and data transfer, high quality visual output, as well as all the connectivity that you could possibly want in a package that is incredibly affordable. This thing stands alone in its price class, showing you that you can get a whole lot for less. So check out the Basis 7-port hub at the link in the video description. Big thanks to them for sponsoring today's video. And new video game launching today. I was actually kind of nervous.
Same.
Because
Same
it was day before reviews, so that...
It always makes me a little worried.
But Alan Wake 2 has come out with its reviews, and the Metacritic score as of the time of filming is an 88, which is surprisingly high. I'm
That's on
pleasantly
PlayStation
shocked.
5.
Yes, that is on PlayStation 5, all platforms. It actually goes slightly higher on PC, coming in at 92. And that's exactly what Digital Foundry said. I know a lot of people were saying, hey, Alan Wake 2 system specs are really, really stringent. I'm going to wait until Digital Foundry says it's good. Digital Foundry essentially said that it's one of the most technically impressive games that's ever come out. And the console version is cut down because it has to be, but not in a way that makes it seem like you're getting a lesser experience.
It was still a full package. I watched through this video earlier and oh my goodness, I was impressed.
Yeah, if you do a side-by-side, certain things like shadows and, you know, the way reflections are done because it's not path tracing that's being done on the console side of things, it's not quite as good, but they didn't under-deliver the console experience while also creating a PC experience that many are saying is unlike anything they've ever seen, especially with NVIDIA's DLSS 3.5 coming in with ray reconstruction as well as full path tracing. It's some of the most spectacular lighting scenarios that you've seen in a video game. This appears to be setting a new standard and kind of, I mean, not to a lot of people, but kind of justifies it for the people who are like, this better be like, can it run Crysis level of stuff?
Yeah.
And it appears like we're there.
This might be the new crisis.
Merry Chrysler!
Merry crisis.
Well, now we have some benchmarks coming out showing exactly what you can expect. Some people have attempted to run 10 series.
Yeah.
Doesn't run very great because it doesn't support mesh shaders primarily, but we also have this article coming out from Tech Power Up indicating how much VRAM you're going to potentially need. And at the lowest possible settings, you're looking at just under 10 gigabytes at 4K and right around 7 gigabytes at 1080p. As you go up to maximum settings, just in rasterization, not with ray tracing, you're looking at 13 gigabytes at 4K and roughly 11 gigabytes at 1440p. As soon as you turn on ray tracing, you're going up to 16 gigabytes at 4K. As soon as you go up to path tracing, you're looking at an additional 500 megs. And if you add everything together with frame gen and all of that, you're looking at 18 gigabytes.
That's a spicy number.
It's a spicy number, but you're going to need something like an RTX 4090 to run it at 4K properly. So if we take a look at further benchmarks, at 4K with path tracing turned on, you're looking at 32 FPS on a 4090.
Yeah.
So yeah, you're gonna need that 24 gigabytes of VRAM that's on there because it is a monster of a game, punching every single GPU in the face, including the $1,600 ones, in case you want to run it with path tracing turned on. The 7900 XTX getting roughly half that amount of FPS. Now this is not with frame generation or any of the DLSS features turned on, but it shows just how demanding next generation games are going to be. Nvidia is trying to sell you on the fact that they have some AI upscaling that's going to help you with that with DLSS 3.5. But if you like, this is a crisis moment.
Yeah.
4090 can only do 32 FPS with path tracing turned on. Most people aren't going to run it like this. They're going to turn DLSS on, so it's not 100% there, but it's a new era. It's a new era in video game graphics, and everything's changing. And AMD is changing their drivers to support Alan Wake 2. That's coming out. They have a few issues that they're fixing, and good to know that they have drivers coming out. This is not them fixing the Fluid Motion Frame Anti-Lag Plus driver that got people banned from esports titles. That's a different driver path. This is just the mainstream one that's fixing things.
Yeah,
and what?
I was gonna say it makes it better get it.
Better get it.
Makes it better get it.
And you know what makes a better get a water? AI. That Reece's mouth generated by AI. It turns out Google Maps is getting some AI features that they're going to be integrating, including immersive views for routes. So they announced this back in May, and that the immersive view for routes will allow you to see exactly what's going on wherever you're happening to try to find. It essentially, as far as I can understand, turns Google Maps into Microsoft Flight Simulator.
Interesting.
And so you can actually see it as you're going through it in a way that hasn't been done before. And it's going to be launched in a few cities right now for iOS and Android: Amsterdam, Barcelona, Dublin. You can read the list that's on the screen. Additionally, they're going to have some AI-based search and a few other things that are AI generated. But AI is going to touch everything. It's going to touch you.
Everywhere.
Do you consent?
It's AI.
Tell me where the AI touched you, Reece. And tell me where the deals touched you.
They're right there.
Give them to me.
This is the segue you're gonna end on?
No, because we have Monday's episode, you nerd.
And hey, deals! Welcome back, everyone, to UFD Deals, bringing the hottest tech deals out on the internet. I only get to say that here for a couple more times.
Are we going to try to force Tuesday's episode, or do you think you're going to be too much of a nervous mess?
Oh, I'm going to be an absolute mess.
So we should do it, so that people can see what you're like.
And starting off today, we have the HyperX Cloud Core wireless gaming headset for only $65.08, making it $34.91 off. But then next up, we have the Asus TUF Gaming 27-inch 1440p 180Hz HDR gaming monitor for only $209.99, making it $39.01 off.
Yummy.
And then we have this Coolermaster Master Liquid ML240L, which is their RGB AIO CPU liquid cooler that you can pick up for only $60.56 with the coupon applied, making it $39.43 off.
I touched the chia. That was a mistake. Would you like to eat it?
I'm scared.
You know chia's food, right?
And then next up, we're checking something thanks to our friends and channel sponsors, Jawa. With this build by Mountain Man PCs, featuring an RTX 3060 Ti and a Ryzen 5 3600, all fit in the Deep Cool Cube 310 ATX case.
Was it said 32 gigs of RAM?
Yeah.
Is this Shauner? This looks like Shauner's PC. It's from Colorado, and I think I recognize the background of his pictures. I could be making it. It might not be Shauner, but I think it's Shauner.
And you can pick up this whole PC for only $750, which...
You know what? It's going to be cheaper if you use code UFD10 if it's your first time buying a Jawa, because you get $10 off your first purchase with them.
And don't forget, you can check out Jawa for more deals. You might find something interesting. Like I had to bring this up. Tusker PCs, they make actually a couple of cool different random custom PCs. They fit a custom PC in an OG Xbox.
Wow. What's it got in it?
It's rocking an i5-10500T, 16 gigs of RAM, a 2TB M.2 SSD, and an RX
6400. Look at that.
all in this little guy here. You never know what you're gonna find on Java. I thought this was really cool. I just had to show it off. And with that, the deals are done. You can find these and more linked in the video description down below. But until next time, I'm hand you off back to Brett for the rest of your hard news. Cheers.
Well, Reece, I've got a horrific deal for you, okay?
Good.
I want you to spend $44 billion on something that's definitely not worth it, and everybody else knows it except for the 3 a.m. version of you that says you want to buy it.
Can they be Zimbabwean dollars?
Nope, they're real USD.
I'm out of luck.
I would have to argue that this one event probably should have devalued our currency at least a little bit.
Just like
but
a little...
I've got bad news for you.
Uh-oh.
It's been a year. It's been a whole year. Let that sink in. And things aren't going well over on Twitter. There's been a whole bunch of investigation trying to find out what are the specs at Twitter looking like, and it turns out that they've had 9% decrease in year-on-year growth when it comes to daily active users, which Facebook's still growing. That feels wrong, but it's right. Twitter is dying. Also, additionally, numbers coming out indicating that time on Twitter is just absolutely collapsing, going down 13% year on year, down 6% month on month, and just even less than people are on Snapchat.
Oh my.
But also, just to make everything worse, Twitter announcing that they're rolling out the audio and video calling feature.
That's what I want.
Do you want to be called by random people?
Absolutely.
Well, you can't be if you follow the rules, okay? This is something that Elon Musk wants because it makes Twitter the everything app that he's been going for, but you can turn it off completely, and you can make it so that you're only getting calls from people in your address book, people you follow, or just verified users, which is exactly what I would want to use it for, is people I don't know calling me. Because I was trying to think, why does this bother me more than like Facebook Messenger video calling? And it's because typically with Facebook, I'm connected with folks that I've personally met IRL.
Yes.
That Twitter, it's randos and people who follow me for reasons that I'm not sure of.
I really hate that verified users is even an option.
Yeah. Hey, let people call me if they pay $8 a month to Elon Musk. Oh boy.
Great.
Well, don't worry, because Zuck is taking this opportunity to talk about just how great Threads is doing and how it's a more positive environment and that he sees a way for them to get to 1 billion active users. So he said that in the earnings report for Meta that they have just under 100 million monthly active users, which is not bad. It is less than what Twitter has coming in, with Twitter being at like 275 million daily active users. So it's still catching up, but it only launched a few months ago, and they expect that it could potentially have 1 billion active users and be a more positive environment. If they keep at it for a few more years, then they think they have a good chance of achieving their vision there, which is something that Elon has said about Twitter being worth like $250 billion. But Threads is also adding polls and GIFs, so you can do it.
They didn't have?
They didn't. Have you seen an animated GIF anywhere on Threads?
I have not.
You haven't even been on Threads since
I haven't
like the
opened
first
the
week.
app in like weeks now.
That's what I'm talking about. But speaking of other companies undermining what Elon Musk is going for, Uber announcing that their Robotaxis partnered with Waymo are finally rolling out. You can use the Uber app to summon a taxi that does not have a human individual driving it, specifically right now only in Phoenix, Arizona, with this not really being that different than just ordering it through Waymo. It's just the convenience of having it through Uber. And Uber saying, looking ahead, we expect that the number of human drivers and AVs on the Uber platform will continue to grow side by side for quite a long time as we continue to scale a hybrid global network that combines both. I'm gonna press X for doubt. You know, the amount of, they don't want employees, and they're not going to pay people properly. Like they don't want them to scale side by side. That it's in their best interest if they just have machines doing all of their work. And honestly, it's kind of also in the end user's best interest, because like then you can easily get those like 3:30 a.m. like drives, and you're not dependent on another human being like, you know what, I want to sacrifice my sleep schedule to drive Nick from his friggin' flight to Colorado back home to his wife Stacy, who is probably not even happy that he's back home.
Who am I gonna have awkward small talk with?
Oh man, the last time I Ubered somewhere was to the airport, and I'm not even gonna say how racist this man was.
Oh my.
Against a people group you wouldn't expect.
Oh my.
It was concerning, alarming, surprising, and I didn't know how to deal with it. Well, we don't want you to be confused, alarmed, surprised at the upcoming launch of the Super Series. Now we're getting even further indication that this is coming sooner than you're expecting, because now the 4080 Super has had its PCI ID labeled by one of the Tech Power Up GPU database maintainers, showing that this is likely going to start coming into development. It was based on the 8103 chip, which is the same one that the 4080 is based on, so it could be just a supercharged version of that. There is some indication that the 4080 Super might be on a cut down version of the 4090, the 8102 chip. Effectively, none of that matters to the end consumer. The end consumer is really only going to care about, can this run Alan Wake 2?
Just a little bit faster.
Yes, that's what they're going to want. And the answer is yes, regardless of its 80, 102, 103, 104. Nobody cares.
They'll squeeze out some extra performance juice there somewhere.
Oh, I love it when NVIDIA juices the graphics. All right, Reece, let's get into the comment response. Let's juice some engagement right now. Barry Essa saying, Linux drivers are open source. The community will continue to keep them relevant for upcoming years on Linux. Have I mentioned they're pre-installed? When the Windows drivers are dropped, you're just stuck there. But that means you have to use Linux.
Yeah, I've got nothing funny to say about that.
Teamplay says, the thing about ray tracing and global illumination is switching to it and keeping it in mind during level design will also give devs a couple metric tons of less work to do on fixing manual lighting in thousands of places. It's not just there to look better. And while that is true, we also kind of talked about this yesterday, that creates separate paths that they have to work down. They have to, right now, at the moment, still do pre-baked fake lighting, and then they also have to enable path tracing, global illumination, all of that kind of stuff, which technically in the long run might be a better situation, but in the meantime, it's just added work on top of the work that they have to do for people who can't actually support it on the hardware level.
I mean, that's what they did similarly with that one Metro game. They got like a refresh and they just did like full RTX lighting instead of like actual
the enhanced edition.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's a completely different path, and then they just decided to drop one of those entirely for that edition.
Yep. Jimmy saying, I personally am not really upset by Alan Wake 2's requirements. Never heard of Alan Wake before, and I probably wouldn't have ever played it myself. I just feel like it's a tough sell, especially to the point where previous gen top of the line cards like a 6950 XT can run any game at 4K, but is only good for a 1080p 60 with upscaling. Which I get what you're saying,
yeah.
But also like, does it really, if you were not gonna be buying Alan Wake 2, like this doesn't affect the actual conversation, because all of this is going to be based on sales. Are people going to be buying Alan Wake 2, which is looking to be like the next step in lighting and graphical fidelity in video games? And if people buy it for that reason, realize that the graphics card isn't strong enough, people will begin to upgrade. Or conspiracy theory that I read in a random comment yesterday that I couldn't find for comment response, but play it on GeForce Now. That's what Nvidia wants. Give them the subscription money.
I get it now.
Maybe. But also the 6950 XT wasn't a top of the line card. It competed with the 3080, which was not the top of the line card because there was a 3080 Ti, and then there was
still
also
a tier above that.
There was a 3090 and then also a 3090 Ti. It was high end for sure, but it was not a flagship. It was not top of the line. Don't you 69? It's a good card. I've purchased many a 6950 XT in my back days. My days. Sorry.
Your back days.
I'm on my front days now. Mr. Sabarna saying, just mentioning you can buy an upgrade kit for the Bobo VR to use the M2 head strap on the Quest 3, and also have released the M3 head strap that works on the Quest 3.
I haven't seen any reviews on the like conversion kit that they sell, but I am a big fan of the M2 head strap.
Jiminy saying, if your gaming computer has 7-year-old hardware in it, you should have been thinking about upgrading 2 years ago. I'm bringing this up because I think that's a hot take. That you should.
Spicy, spicy.
I do get, like, half a decade is a long time.
I will say
a lot of things change in that time frame.
If I'm getting to that half a decade point, I'm at least looking what's available on the market to like gauge what it would be an upgrade path.
Yeah, it does seem like a lot of people are doing that. They are just like, 2017 was the last time they upgraded. That's 10 series. You're still on 10 series, maybe 20 series if you got towards the tail end of that 5-year upgrade. But yeah, 10 series being in 2017.
Yeah, I have to say, at least like if people aren't exactly upgrading at that point, they're at least considering it. They're keeping track of what's going on in the hardware space.
You respond, you let us know. Game Hard says, I thought Reece was leaving. He's still here. That's what matters.
Nobody.
Me Not Kevin said, I started watching Hot News when I started chemotherapy, and Reece has been a host through it all so far. So really gonna miss him when he goes back to South Africa. Hope your brother is doing well, by the way.
Appreciate that. Thank you.
Hope you're doing well. I will do my best to continue without this man and to keep you entertained. Hopefully we can get through it together. And then God's Hotel saying, okay guys, who's next going to sacrifice their car for Reece to stay?
Fun fact, my brother does have a replacement car already.
Hey, you're going home.
Yeah.
It's real.
It's happening. Oh, it's happening.
See you on Monday for Reece's last episode here. Maybe you'll get a Stress Tuesday version of him.
Maybe. That's a...
I'm gonna bet no. I'm gonna bet he doesn't want
It's a stretch. I'm already feeling the pre-flight ooh.
You got a whole weekend to get through.
I know.
We got a Rugby World Cup Championship finals to get through.
I'm hoping I don't die of stress.
Oh my goodness. Monday.